Hey, how's it going? Can you hear me okay? All right. I'm going to move closer because that last video, my glasses did so much reflecting. And now it's nighttime. I'm making a nighttime video. Excuse me. I don't know what we're going to do yet. I have more pictures to look at, like the rest of that stack. And I have stuff to talk about. I don't know if I feel like talking about it just yet. Anyway, could be big changes on the horizon, gang. Big changes for the little buckaroo. Could be happening soon. Oh, okay. Well, look, here's the next stack. So I just now flipped it over without you guys. So we're gonna go right back into this. I don't know how long this video is gonna go because I'm not sure how much memory is on here. Good to see everybody. It's nice to have you here with me. We're gonna look at more pictures, and judging from the last stack we looked at, that it was mostly military army pictures mixed in with a few old pictures from the 60s from my early childhood, some of my relatives. We'll try and go faster this time, but who knows what we're going to find. I don't really know. Anyway, here's the first picture. This is Christmas. There we go. This is Christmas in Saudi Arabia. There's so many great pictures, so many great people in this picture. Anyway, we're still getting, where's that reflection coming from? How are we not getting it again? What's happening? Oh, there it is. It's reflecting the screen right on this great picture of all of my friends. How cool is that? Anyway, this is my platoon. Just a ton of great people. That Santa Claus, he's the chaplain. This guy was something else, this chaplain. He had the forethought. We left in August, and at the time we thought that this was at least going to be a year. But this guy, we leave in August, and this guy has the forethought to pack a Santa Claus suit. How cool is that? He had this Santa Claus suit packed inside of his stuff. We left in August because he knew that we were going to be there for Christmas. This is it's hard to see this stuff. Anyway, this is just a picture of a Cobra attack helicopter coming directly at us, but you can barely see it because it's so skinny, because it's so thin. You know anything about a Cobra, you know what I'm talking about. This is more, I don't know, there might be a stealth helicopter in that picture. There's another picture of that Christmas tree. And there's us standing over the Christmas tree. I'm just going to guess this is probably Christmas morning. This is probably Christmas morning 1991. No, 1990, I'm sorry. That's Christmas 1990. My friend Vic. He's doing crossword puzzles in a Woman's Day crossword puzzle book. He's pointing it out because that was something funny. Because he's doing a woman's crossword puzzle. This is myself and my friend Bear. Looking particularly deadly this afternoon. There's my friend Vic. My friend Ken at the beach in Saudi Arabia. Here's a big picture of the platoon. Look at all these people. What's going on here? I don't know. It's hard to see anybody, but I know all of them. I know them all better than I would even care to remember. Some of them, like my friend Jim here, I could spend, even though we've spent hours and years together, I could still spend hours and years with this guy. Oh, this is interesting. It's a terribly framed picture. No doubt taken by my ex-wife. This is a picture of Why is it even framed like this? Look at the look at the decor in this house. So this was my house. This was a house that I owned, and it was awful. This is about 1994. That's my oldest son right there on the couch with me, and look at me. I'm all domesticated, just like just a year after the army, and look at me. How weird is that? Look at what happened to me. Look at what happened to me. Look at this place. Right? Look at what happened to me. So this is what happened to me. Sitting right there in front of me is the best thing that ever happened to me. One of the best things that ever happened to me. It's my oldest son. Um, then my youngest son is the other best thing that ever happened to me. But this is him when he's little. This is our living room with our Duncan Fife furniture. Ethan Allen like a motherfucker. Look at this. This is my old sergeant, man. This guy's name is Jim, and this is my old. He was a squad leader. So he eventually became my platoon sergeant, but at this time he's my squad leader. He's flipping me off as I'm taking his picture, and he was a real character, man. This is a great guy. This is a great guy. One of the best NCOs I ever worked with. He was really fun. This says the Reese family reunion, July 1979. This is my mother and some of her sisters and my Uncle Joe at the family reunion at our family reunion at the park and at the pond. Those are all my cousins in the background. And this family reunion still happens, but really back in the 70s and the 80s was when it was in its heyday. And it would happen at this park, and there would be 200 people. So yeah, there they all are. Awesome, awesome people. The greatest generation, right? Here's another ship in Bahrain, at the port there in Bahrain. Here's me on a ship at the port in Bahrain. How happy I am to be at war. Have you ever seen a guy that went to war what did I take, a personal photographer with me? Is that what you're thinking? You're thinking, holy crap, Meyer, did you just have have somebody following you around with a camera everywhere you went, and they're just taking pictures of you while you're fighting in a war? And the answer is yes, I pretty much did. These are my photographers right here. I know it's silly, but it's true. Anyway, this is some oil fires in the distance that I took. We were driving by, and you can see, and I don't know what time of day this is, or if this is night. I don't even know. I can't remember. I feel like it was nighttime. Anyway, at one point, the Iraqis set fire to a bunch of Kuwaiti oil wells, and they were all on fire and burning, and all the lights you see are fires. That's all fires. This is, I think that's me. I think this is, yeah, look at that watch. I don't know, it's on my right hand though. It's that ring. That's not me. Who is this? No, it's got to be me. Anyway, this is somebody wearing a protective mask because we're getting attacked by nerve agents by Saddam Hussein. No big deal. This is my friend Daryl, and he's a great, awesome, amazing dude. This guy was great. I don't know how to describe this guy. Maybe the ultimate wingman is how I would put Daryl. Anyway, he was an awesome dude. He's at the beach. We're at the beach. Sometimes I'm on boats. Sometimes when I go to war, I look like I'm on a cruise ship. But really, I'm not on a cruise ship. I'm in the middle of a war zone, just pretending that I'm some sort of jet setter. I don't know what was going on. This is all true stories. This is January on the back. This one says January 91. Most of these don't have any writing on them. For some reason, this says January 91. This must have been like well, it wasn't the beginning of the attacks, but this must have been early on, I'm guessing, because that's me. I know that's me. The reason why I know that's me is that red bag hanging from that string behind me. It's a kite. Yeah, it's an airfoil that folds up and you can. It's a steerable Chinese like fighting kite with the two sticks that you hold that go like that, and you can make flip like that. But it folds up. Anyway, my sister sent me that from San Francisco to take to the desert to go fly a kite in the middle of the war, and I did. But at this point, we're getting attacked, or we think that we're getting attacked, and so I'm putting my helmet on. But this is early on because after maybe 8 or 10 times, you stop putting your helmet on, and that's just like in the first 3 or 4 days. So after maybe the first week, you really stop caring about any of it. This is an odd picture of me from my old work. It must be in here because somebody must have took this at my work one day, and then it was on a roll of film. You know what I'm saying? This came from the receptionist's desk. This was me carrying a container that had some sort of contaminated waste in it. That's why it's red. And I don't know what the contaminated waste is that's in there, or maybe I'm just trying to be funny, like, ooh, I've got something gross, because she was standing there taking pictures of everyone. But once again, this is the domesticated me shortly after I am discharged from the Army. And then just right back into it. This is a great picture of some of my friends right after a parachute jump. And we are chilling. We are at the at the rally point almost before anyone else, and so we're hanging out. And Daniel is taking a nap. Bird is smoking a cigarette and playing music. He's going through the tapes that he bought, and he's pulled out his little boom box that he bought. He packed all that stuff inside of his rucksack. This guy was something else. And see those goggles he's wearing? These are essential in this desert. These goggles will save your life. Here's a great picture of Daniel bringing us coffee in the morning. So this guy was a star. So he would take everybody's canteen cups. He would get up, before the sun would come up, before anyone else. This guy'd be getting up at like 4:30 or 5 o'clock in the morning and securing the entire AO. Plus, this is a giant dude. This guy's like 6'5". So this big corn-fed West Virginian guy would get up super early, and he would go to where everybody's stuff was, and he would get everybody's canteen cups. Then he would go and get the freshest of the fresh coffee that was being made at the earliest of the morning by the chow hall. And he would get full cups of hot coffee and bring it back to all of us in the middle of this hellhole. And then this is him. So this is the same guy. His name is Daniel, and this is a snake that he appears to be biting the head off. But that's not what happened. This snake already has had its head cut off, and so he's sticking a beheaded snake into that was still wriggling and still alive, but the head had been chopped off, and he put it in his mouth, and it was like, right? Look at this. Do you guys have any pictures of your friends with barely dead snakes in their mouths? Do you guys have any friends that would put dead snakes in their mouths? That's why we're making these videos, guys. Boy, there's a lot of pictures of Daniel in here. This is Daniel and I going on this mission, and this was gnarly this day. This was a gnarly mission. This was like 3 days or something. I don't know what it was, but it was fun. And look at this. Let's jump back in time. This says Pacific Grove, 1971. Look at this idyllic paradise where I grew up. I'm feeding a chipmunk. I'm feeding a wild chipmunk a peanut from my hands at the beach. This is a Sillamar beach. This is like 3 blocks from my house where I grew up. And this is the beach that my aunt used to walk her easel to and paint the beautiful ocean every day. So I grew up with this, and by choice, I end up like with these guys, with the guy with the snake in his mouth. I chose to do all this. I had to volunteer for all of it. So I could have stayed here. This is my oldest son looking adorable in a giant shirt talking on the phone. He might be talking to me. I have a feeling that's what's happening here because the significance of this picture, I think, is that she's taking a picture of him talking to me. This is a picture of me in Saudi Arabia at the gym. This was a gym. This was a gym that we discovered that was on this Arabian air base that we had access to. It was a very nice gym, man. It had everything. So really very nice. And inside this gym, there was a beautiful water polo pool, right? It was all set up for water polo with the nets, the goals, and everything, right? And so I love water polo, and my friends, we love water polo. It's like football in the water. And and so we find this place and we start playing water polo here on the reg, like just as regular as we're going to the beach. We're just rolling into this place, and these people are just really stink eyeing us. Okay, all of the locals are not real happy, but they can't do anything to stop us. It's like they just kind of they kind of let us have free reign at this point in the world at this time, right? 1990, 1991, we were like some sort of mercenary force, and the Saudi Arabian government didn't like us, but they were using us for certain reasons. So they let us go and use their stuff. So we're playing water polo regularly here. One day we're playing water polo, and like 5 times a day there, this mosque thing goes off. Sorry, guys. This mosque thing goes off like 5 times a day, the prayer horn. So this holy thing plays really loud wherever you are, except where we're at. Like we live out in the desert, and so we don't hear this. But we come in here and we're at this gym, and all of a sudden, all the power turns off and all the lights turn off, and then they start making the sound, right? They're like doing this, saying these prayers super loud, and it's like over through the loudspeakers and stuff. But it was the first time we had heard it and experienced it in the place that we were at. But we didn't really. Not only did we not care, but we didn't really know. So we didn't realize that we were like being disrespectful. We weren't trying to be disrespectful, but we continued playing water polo. We continued playing water polo while this was happening, and we like maybe a good 5 minutes. Some dude comes in and he goes, excuse me, you must stop. And so we all stopped. We said, oh, I'm sorry. We're sorry. We didn't realize. So then, whenever we were playing water polo in their gym after that, and smashing into each other and giving each other fat lips and stuff like that, and holding each other underwater in their gym, whenever the prayer thing would go off, we would stop. It's my friend Murph. He has just popped a green smoke grenade to attract the attention of a helicopter that is trying to find us so he can give us food and water. Here's that same helicopter. We're at the top of this mountain. Can you see how high up we are? We're up really, really high. Like that's another mountain across the valley over here. This is all the desert floor. This is a Black Hawk helicopter that's climbing up this mountain towards us. And that's where Murph just popped that smoke. And then here's the helicopter as it got up closer. That's my rucksack and my medical aid bag right there. And he came up, he came up here and he kicked out some water and kicked out a box of MREs for us. Here's the crew sleeping soundly like babies on their way to war. So this is what it looks like when you go to war and you fly to war in a United Airlines plane, which is what we did. It's going to sound crazy, but it's true. So we flew into war in a civilian plane. I'm not sure why that happened. But I never experienced. I mean, I flew in civilian planes while I was in the military, while I was in transit, right? Like dressed in my civilian clothes, not in uniform, not with weapons and equipment on on a civilian airplane, which is what's happening here. So I'm here. I'm right there. I'm sleeping, and that's Jim over there. That's Javi. Oh, he's a good kid. That's Javi, and that's Krek. That's Daryl. But I've got a pillow. Look at that. I even got a pillow. I asked the stewardess for a pillow, and she gave me one. And I'm all fucking nuzzled up against my freaking O lineman. I got Jim right there protecting me. I'm sound asleep. We're really scared and worried to go to war at this point. We're not. We're just sleeping. I don't know. This says Rambo was here. The reason why this says Rambo was here is there was this guy in my old platoon named that we called Rambo, and he's a good guy. Anyway, it's a memory of Rambo. This is my first platoon in the Air Cavalry at Fort Bragg in the 82nd Airborne Division. I loved this platoon. I loved these guys. This was a great freaking platoon. Um, this was Cav days. This was the rucksack race. We're all getting ready to do some sort of competition. We're competing with other platoons. Some of these guys here, some of the best people that I was in the Army with. This guy right here, my buddy Dean, was my roommate for a long time, at least 2 years. It felt like longer. It went by quick, but it was a lot of fun. It's my old lieutenant. He was great. It's the best LT I ever had. He was such a great LT. Christmas again? Is this the first one? Did we go all the way through? If we made it all the way through in 22 minutes, guys, we're good to go. We did. Look, we're back to the Cobra. I didn't flip it over or anything, did I? I think that's pretty good. We did the whole rest of, so that's the second stack that matches up with the first stack. What picture should we choose for was there a good, were these any good? Is this video any good? What would be a good picture for the thumbnail? The one of us sleeping on the United Airlines? Daniel putting a snake in his mouth. It's kind of a fuzzy one. What would make a good one? This picture, if it wasn't so, like, what happened to this camera? I don't know who. This was taken by Ruben. So I know exactly where this was and what the moment. There's a lot more pictures in here from Ruben and I on on this boat. So Ruben and I go on this boat and for 3 days R&R, and we had a good time. Anyway, we drank so much Australian beer. So this boat that we're on, this is Bahrain, and Bahrain doesn't have the same form of Sharia law that some of the other Middle Eastern countries have. So if you're on a recreational boat off, if you're on a recreational boat offshore of the coast of Bahrain, you can consume. I don't know if it is. You can consume alcohol. There's spirits as well. But we were just drinking those oil cans of Foster's Lager because they were 50 cents a piece. So on this boat, they're selling Foster Lager cans, the big Foster's Lager cans, for 50 cents each. And there's waitresses. They're all Russian and Czechoslovakian and stuff. But it was like taking a vacation in the middle of the war. But we had business. We had stuff that we had to do here at the same time. So we had stuff to do in town as well, some places to go and some things to take care of. And so it wasn't fully a pleasure situation, but it was a lot of fun. I mean, what the heck? What kind of person says that? I don't know, man. Didn't we see a comic book recently on the cover that said that said war is hell, but then it said question mark or is it or something like that? I feel like we saw that. I feel like because look at this. I mean, right? What is this? What did he call this in Full Metal Jock? Full Metal Jock. In Full Metal Jacket, what did he call this? Joker. What did he say? It's the duality of man, right? When the general calls him out for the peace symbol on his helmet, and he said it's about the duality of man, sir. Anyway, this is Bear and I. We are armed with M16 rifles, and we are giving the peace sign. But it's not really the peace sign. That's the victory sign. We're giving a V for victory right here. That's what that's about. Gosh, I don't know if any of these are appropriate or good for a thumbnail. I don't even know if I'm going to use this video. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, there's stuff happening here. Like I might have to move, or I probably am going to have to move. There's a situation that's occurring, and I'm going to move, man. I'm going to find a different spot, and it's going to be in the neighborhood, and we'll see what happens. It's all going to be good. Whatever happens, it'll all be good, because look at me. I go to war, and I look like I'm on a freaking pleasure cruise. So this will be our picture for the thumbnail, is me going to war looking like I'm on a pleasure cruise. All right. Thanks for watching, you guys. I appreciate it. I hope you have a great day. Talk to you later.